What is a limiting belief, and why does it have such power over you and your life? To begin with, it's important to understand that your core beliefs have tremendous control over your life, literally ruling your conscious and unconscious decision making. They directly affect the actions that you take and the feelings that you experience. Your belief system will either empower you to enjoy life and optimize opportunities that come your way, or encourage you to listen to your inner critic and the self-sabotage that supports. Henry Ford of Ford Motors once said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're probably right." And what he meant by that is that your attitude will determine your success or failure. So if you recognize a pattern of can't, shouldn't, mustn't as part of your vocab of that internal dialogue, and you want to put a stop to it, then this video is for you. Hi, Lesley Hornsby here. Along with any number of psychological aids, NLP techniques are a very real and quick way to achieve a change in mindset and banish those barrier beliefs that just love to hold you back, so that you can move closer to achieving your goals in life, whatever they might be. And as usual, if this subject matter interests you, just hit subscribe. I post every week and you'll be alerted to more of the same. What then is a belief, and how do they get started? And what causes those beliefs to limit what you allow yourself to do? Such beliefs are caused by a number of factors, but they all stem from the same place: your brain's desire to protect you from pain in the future. These triggers can include fear, imposter syndrome, and past experiences. It's also true that limiting beliefs in most cases are unconscious thoughts, which appear as defense mechanisms to avoid possible frustrations, failure, and disappointment. For example, at a time in your past, you may have suffered from something specific, and now when you come face to face with a similar situation, your subconscious finds a way to try and to block it. Your personal beliefs may be derived from previous first-hand experience, or an hereditary experience and belief passed on from others in our earlier life. You might be unconsciously influenced by social circles of the people around you, as well as societal norms, which could impose standards that generate limiting beliefs. Some limiting beliefs may be also stemming from religion, where limiting thoughts are spread through the propagation of attitudes deemed acceptable in the eyes of the divinity in which an individual believes. A belief is basically something that you accept to be true. Now, it's also true that we develop quite a few of our beliefs without a single shred of tangible evidence as to the authenticity of those beliefs. If you're facing a limiting belief you'd like to overcome, then a good starting exercise to counteract it is to look for the root cause of such negativity. What then might a limiting or disempowering belief sound like? More than once in coaching sessions, as well as in training workshops, I've had clients who believe they're not good enough in some way. A common belief I come across is that they're a slower learner, or that they're not as capable of learning a new skill as other people. And I've worked with people who believe others just ignore them, don't listen to them, or perhaps don't like them. And I've listed the top 10 limiting beliefs below this video just for your interest. You may recognize some of these because they range from "I'm not good enough" to "I can't do that because I'm not," and then you fill in the blanks for yourself. Intelligent enough, educated enough, confident enough, the list goes on. The first step is to begin by challenging your limiting belief. Ask yourself, what do I believe to be true that isn't? Now, there are any number of techniques available to you to make a change, so we're going to explore some of them and see which best suits you. First tactic to try. When you're next faced with something that you point blank believe you can't do, take a moment and identify what it is exactly you believe about yourself that is stopping you from achieving the things that you want. Take a moment to question your usual go-to thoughts and feelings. Challenging them by asking these kinds of questions in NLP is known as meta-modeling. And I've added a link to a PDF that explains meta-modeling in full. Taking this technique to the next stage, try asking yourself why you believe this to be true about yourself. Whatever your reason, assess whether that rationale for the belief sounds convincing to you, and then question what might happen if you did it anyway. Both the best and the worst outcomes as a result of taking action. It's not unusual for our brains to amplify things beyond truth and reason, and that is no less true when it comes to your beliefs. There is also a tendency for us to spend an awful lot of time of mental energy justifying why we shouldn't do something. A useful tactic to adopt is to flip that tendency on its head and instead concentrate on the reasons for taking action. No question, it can be scary. Your instinct for self-preservation is strong, even when it's unjustified. However, by looking at not only the worst case outcome, which in truth may not be so bad anyway, it's important to focus on what the best outcome might look like and may even be much better for you than you'd initially hoped for. Another technique to try is anchoring. You begin by recalling the last time you felt completely confident taking action. Spend time focusing on the particulars of that situation and what you did. Reflect on why you felt confident at the time, what made you believe it, and provide such a positive attitude. Having chosen your powerful positive memory, spend time enhancing it, making it more vivid by accessing all of your senses. That includes how the memory sounds, looks, feels, smells, and tastes, whatever is appropriate to that situation. Doing this will make it easier to resurrect the memory, as well as make it easier to access and recall. Once this positive memory is clear and vivid, it's at that point you need to choose a particular gesture to associate with the memory. To entrench this deliberate association, you need to conjure the memory and then make the gesture. Through repetition, you train your brain to make the connection between memory and gesture. The goal is to inextricably bind gesture and memory together so that at those times when you need a positive emotional boost, making the gesture will conjure the associated feelings of empowerment, positivity, and confidence. The great benefit of anchoring is that it isn't just a one-off short-term fix. Once mastered, it can become an ongoing resource available to you at any time, providing the means to head off potentially any pesky negative barrier beliefs that rise up when you're faced with situations that you find challenging, and have the means to challenge and conquer it. Reframing how you view a barrier belief can also be extremely effective. Cognitive reframing is the process by which a particular situation or thoughts that you find troublesome are challenged and then changed. In the context of cognitive therapy, cognitive reframing is referred to as cognitive restructuring. The intention is to create a reinterpretation of situations, experiences, ideas, events, and/or emotions, and to change and establish a new perspective and perception. As a starting point, let's say you have a friend who holds the same self-limiting belief as you in similar situations. What would you say to your friend? Whatever you come up with, consider if you could say the same thing to yourself. Because the fact is, most of us are quite capable of seeing qualities and capabilities in other people, but fail to see them in ourselves. This exercise will help you see that in fact you can be as encouraging to yourself as you are to your friends, and help you reframe your thoughts into a more positive mindset. When we have bouts of self-limiting beliefs, it's not a big deal normally, especially when we can work our way out of it. The sneaky thing about these beliefs, though, is that when you expose yourself to it enough times, your mind starts to accept it as a truth, and over time your self-confidence gets eroded away. So the three exercises I've talked about, the meta-model question, reframing, anchoring, they're meant to be used over and over again. Don't think that you just need to apply once and your self-belief will magically inflate, because, let's be honest, we just don't work that way. When you start to recognize that these beliefs are of your own making and that they're stopping you from growing, as the sole author of your own thoughts, you have the ability to take the necessary steps to dictate those thoughts and encourage your own beliefs in your capabilities. Adopting a new belief to replace the limiting belief is another aspect of this transformation. Choose something new to believe in, something that will help you to improve your life. This transition may not be easy, depending on how long you've had that thought and lived through what led you to believe what you believe. It may have created an extraordinarily strong emotional bond and rooted the belief very deeply. If you want to go ahead and change, you'll need to have the strength and courage to make that change in thinking and adopting a new belief. None of this will work if you don't actually put it into practice, of course. Make a concerted effort to take action and start implementing things that support your new belief. If your limiting belief told you that you were too old to start exercising, well, then instead start to adopt it's a never too late to start belief. And then today, go for a 15-minute walk and start exercising and create a habit from there. When we allow our lives to be shaped by these limiting beliefs, the behaviours that we adopt reinforce our own beliefs, and so we become expert in creating our own self-fulfilling prophecies. Once you've successfully supplanted your negativity with a more positive, empowering belief, you need to consolidate it into your behaviour patterns by developing the new behaviours until they become automatic. To do this, you need to practice and reinforce it. So the final step is to undertake actions that are aligned to the new behaviours that you want to develop. If you wish to develop ways of being more organised, seek out techniques and tools that can help you to do that. Another example, if you find yourself worrying that everything you do must be perfect, try doing a few tasks to a level that's just good enough, even if you feel it's not perfect, and consciously encourage yourself to move on. By practicing these kinds of behaviours and making small changes, over time this can lead to rather big changes to your thought processes, your narrative, and in turn your behaviour. It's important as you do this that you recognise it can take time, patience, understanding as you're working through this personal development. So that's it for now. I hope this video has given you some useful tips on tackling limiting beliefs and on using NLP to find the right headspace. At its heart, NLP is about reprogramming your mind to focus on the positives and your personal strengths rather than the negative. If you've had any success, by the way, in quashing a limiting belief that was wrecking your life, I'd really love to hear about it. So please do share your stories here and use the comments box below. As always, if you'd like some one-to-one help, then by all means just get in touch. You can use the contact link I've added below, and that'll allow you to make a 30-minute appointment with me for a preliminary obligation-free chat. Don't forget there's a free guide that I've added below so that you can read a bit more about meta-modelling and some other NLP techniques. Remember to click subscribe to get more videos. I post every week. And in the meantime, thank you very much for your company. I hope you can join me again next time with more help and advice on leading a more fulfilled life. Bye for now.